Hey guys, welcome back to Table Talk with Zach and Carly, episode 6. Cheers. And today we're going to be talking about teamwork makes the dream work. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share, of course, your thoughts and with others. So, let's get started.
This is episode 6. We're going to talk about teamwork and what it means to be a team on kind of all fronts. And it's honestly really simple. When it comes down to it, you got to remember, the team you play for, right? It's the same in all sports, the workplace and at home. You just got to remember the team you play for, right? It's, the name on the front is a lot more important than the name on the back, right? We've all heard that. So when you have challenges or, obstacles or you got to face things together, remember that it's the team versus, the issue, not the individual versus the issue. And always put, the team first. Again, it's cliche, teamwork makes the dream work. But, when you stop caring about, credit and start worrying about results, that's when they come. And honestly, I can't say that that's, as simply put, but it's important, right? And again, I said it's important in work, competitive sports or anything like that, and marriage, right? You talk about parenting, building a life together, the house, the kids, the dogs, work, yourself. It all takes teamwork, right? At the end of the day, life is tough, but it's a lot easier when you have someone on the same team as you, and you just got to remember that.
Teamwork. Zach talked about teamwork in work, teamwork, on a sports team, and a little bit about teamwork in marriage. So I want to talk about teamwork in parenting. So I'm going to give you an example. Mommy tells me no for whatever, TV, tablet, snack. So I'm going to go to Daddy and see what he says. It's, very common, very simple, but at the same time, it's that teamwork that makes it stick. So when you work on a team, that means that my teammate, my partner, is also going to say no, because that's what makes a team. We're all on the same page. And when your kids do it, they secretly think that you don't know, but you really know that they already asked the other person and they already said no, so that's why they're coming to you. But the whole point is making it a complete action, because if your teammate says yes, then everything that you said as to why they couldn't have a snack or why they couldn't have a tablet or why they couldn't have a movie is now void, because your teammate said yes, which is why it needs to be a complete team and a complete thought. And if you don't know if your partner or teammate had already been asked, or if they had already said yes or no or whatever, ask them. That is how you keep parenting as a team. To be a team in parenting, you have to want the same outcome. You have to want the same, actions to occur with your children.
So, simple example, right? It's easy to say, okay, well, he's asking me because mom already said no. So, hey, buddy, no, you can't have that, right? Your mother just told you no. You're gonna get the same answer from me. Everybody's probably thinking like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. But it's not always that simple. Sometimes there are things that on the front page where you're gonna maybe not agree with. Right? You're gonna have disagreements with your teammates sometimes, when they call an audible on the field you weren't expecting. Right? And in that moment, you just gotta go with it. Support them, like we've talked about before. Support the team, right? Because it's a team, it's not, well, that's what you want, that's not what I want. Well, okay, but that's what she thinks is best for the team right now. So let's see it through to the end. And then, we'll debrief later and we'll talk. Hey, when this happened, I wasn't 100% on the same page as you, so let's clarify what we want when that situation happens again and how we want to do it together, right? It's okay that you guys aren't necessarily on the same page when it comes to discipline or the certain aspects when it comes to parenting. It's okay. You're different people.
And in that moment, we had the opportunity to allow him the ability to understand that we were both on the same team. Whether I agreed with the answer or not, like Zach was saying, if you say no, I'm going to say no, whether I agree or not, and we can talk about it later behind closed doors so our kids understand that we are always on the same team. If one person gives an answer, the other person is going to give the same answer, because that is how teamwork works. And it's important for your kids to see that as well, because if they always see one parent wavering, there's always going to be tension between you, because that means one person is getting their way and one person is not. But when you're on a team, okay, let's talk about it later, because our kids need to see that we work together.
Two things happen, when you leverage strengths on the team when it comes to discipline with kids. Number one, you're teaching them that that's his role, and you're also reducing your own authority. So not only are you not necessarily turning your kids against your spouse, but you're assigning them a role on the team. But in the same process, you're taking away your own authority, right? You should never have to use your spouse's authority when they're not present to get the kids to do something, right? You got to use your own, right? And doing that just undermines yourself. That's all it does. It undermines yourself, and it puts your spouse in a position to be the bad guy. Right, not to say bad guy like that, but hey, I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm the one that has to get the kids to look and this and that, and I know there's always time and place for that kind of things, but right, the spouse should never defer, because the moment you defer, you're now losing your own power. Right, so when that teammate is not present, hey, if that's their role when we're together, hey, I have to do it. I got to play both parts, because I represent the team, not myself.
And I think that can be said in pretty much any situation, especially discipline, but also in, the simple things of asking, if your kids ask you a question to do something, well, go ask your dad. Well, that automatically means that now you have no control over, that situation. You have no opinion about it. So now that means it's all up to your spouse. It's all up to your partner. It's all up to your teammate, whatever. If you're constantly, being that person to dump discipline or decision-making, whatever, on your partner, your kids see that. And it's not necessarily fair to the other teammate to constantly have to do all of that work. If you're a team, you work together, that's just what it is. You make decisions together, you parent together, you discipline together. You make that decision when you get married, hopefully, but if not, that's definitely a conversation that you need to start having now. Because the moment, like Zach said, you start saying, well, I'm going to call your dad when he gets home, he's not going to be happy. Okay, well, now your kid automatically is thinking, well, I can do whatever I want during the day. I can take that little whooping or corner, whatever it might be, when he gets home. That is not going to solve the issue. You have to take control over that. And, we're kind of getting onto this discipline topic, but it's the same. When you're a team, you work together in all situations, in all aspects. And when that other teammate is at work or gone, whatever, you have to pick up that slack during that time.
So, I know Carly, hit it on the head. Where you are using discipline, just because it's a perfect example of how kids recognize which, early on, which team member to go to for what. Mm-hmm. Right? And then, which I don't use the word as fine, I'll use the word natural, right? It's a natural occurrence for sure. That's just the way it works, amongst most parents, kids, those kind of things. But when you do that, then I don't want to say the majority of my parenting role, be discipline in that scenario, right? If we weren't on the same page, that I'm now just, the enforcer that sits back and waits till I have to check someone into the boards, right? And that it's a hockey
I
thing,
know it's a hockey term.
Right.
Okay.
right? And I will be there for our team, but when do I get the good moments with the kids then? And then you switch gears. When does she get time alone? I'm not going to daddy. He's just no. I'm gonna end up going to the corner and gonna lose my blanket, my tablet, just asking for a bar. Right? Put me in a situation to where I'm just a hawk waiting to discipline, and she's just getting pulled left and right for every need. It's wearing, right? And again, I know we're using discipline, but it's just the easiest one to explain because it's the easiest one kids pick up on if you're not on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Dads, we got to bring it back a little bit, right? I don't always have to, be the person that, holds the line. Let her hold the line, right? As a husband, as a spouse, my wife's not a weak person, but naturally, right? I want to come to her defense immediately, right? It's just natural in any situation, right? We're out in public, we're doing this and that, right? I'm always, I want to, if things start to go south in any way, like, hey, I'm gonna get in front of her and I'm gonna make sure that whatever's happening stops happening, right? In parenting, the same thing applies. Hey, listen, son, that's my wife you're talking to, right? Seriously, it's still natural. Guys, we sometimes have to take that breath and allow her to attempt to handle the situation before we, interject ourselves into it. Because then what's going to happen is, well, mommy didn't say anything, daddy did, so when daddy's not around, I can still just do this. Right? So hold back on that for a minute and show your team and you're willing to stand next to her. Maybe position your body close to her. But don't try to take control of the situation naturally. Now, attentions are good, right? And it's natural instinct to come to the defense of her. But let her stand her ground with the kid. Right? It's not. She's not going to lose, right? For sure, she's not going to lose that battle.
I talked a lot about allowing your spouse to be that teammate instead of stepping in front of her. You have to work as a team, and sometimes that means the spotlight is and will be on you. So perform. You have the ability to do that. So work together and make it happen. It's not always going to be easy. You will not always be on the same page. You will not always think the way your partner thinks. You're two different people. Those conversations need to happen together. You can't assume what the other person is thinking. We talked about that before. You can't, be upset with what they want to do. You have to be able to be on the same page in life, in your dreams, in your goals, in your parenting, in your discipline, all of it. Because at the end of the day, this is what you are living with for the rest of your life. You made that commitment. So be on the same page. Have that conversation, have the tough talks about how you want things to go. If things don't go the way that you thought they were going to go, during a situation, especially with parenting, talk about it. We talked a lot about discipline because that is something that will always, always, always be in your children's minds. I'm sure you're thinking, as we talk about discipline, you're thinking back to your own childhood. I know that, that may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. But at the end of the day, you don't want your children relying on one single part of the team to carry the whole world. Because, like Zach said, it gets extremely exhausting. Having to be that one person for every single thing or one person for just discipline, that's not fair. So work as a team, always. Okay, we talked a lot about parenting and discipline, and the reason is honestly, we're parents. We have 3 children. That's what we talk about a lot. You know, our kids are a huge part of our lives, obviously, but it's important that if you do have children, if you don't have children, if you're planning to have children, whatever, if you're married, you just got married, you're engaged, this is a talk to have now, not 10 years down the road and you're wondering why things are the way they are, why your kid only comes to you to cry or to be cuddled, and why he only goes to the other person, you know, when he's getting discipline or if he's having a talking to or whatever it might be. It has to be an equal amount on both sides, which is, you know, our kids, we have 3 of them. So it's a talk that you need to have before you decide, you know, this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. Because if you're not on the same page and you're not on the same team, chances are it probably won't work out that well.
If you have kids, or if you know probably just as well as we do, that parenting advice, for the most part, sucks, right? You know, it is what it is. You can be the most open person to feedback, or you know whatever it is in the world, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, these are my kids, and no one's gonna raise them better than us, right? You know, it may sound aggressive or not open, but that's probably because you don't have kids. Right? I mean, hey, I'm going to smile and say thank you, and I'm going to walk away and take that piece of paper I took the notes on and throw it in the trash and set the trash can on fire because it's worthless. Right? Again, I'm just being a little over dramatic. But seriously, right? If you have kids, you know how hard it is to take parenting advice, right? Everyone who has kids, they're an expert in kids. So, they try to pass along the advice that they can. But hey, we've all been there. So I'm speaking from experience. I got 3 kids. I know how it is to take parenting advice. But don't learn on your own accord. When she says, 10 years from now, this, you don't know where you're going to be if you don't have these talks now. Why learn a lesson on your own? Right? Why go touch a hot stove when you've been told, hey, it's hot? Right? You don't need to learn through your own pain, suffering, growth, experience, whatever you want to call it. Right? Learn from the people around you. Try to take parenting advice just a little bit. And if you're going to take any, just be on the same team. Because the moment you get divided, you're just going to bump heads. Right? And that's not even parenting advice, it's marriage advice. And everybody takes marriage advice actually pretty well. So, if you remove the parenting piece, right? Be there for your spouse the way they need you to be there for the team. Right? Learn from other people's lessons. Teamwork is more than just parenting. Right? It's the house. It's the kids. It's the career. It's each other. Being on the same team isn't, always about, just the parenting. Well, I don't have kids yet, so we don't even have a team yet. Well, you still do. Right? If you don't have, goals in mind, if you don't have priorities set for each other, if you don't know, 20 years from now where you expect to be, not to say that we don't live in a fluid environment to where, priorities and goals in marriage and life change all the time. It happens. Right? You gotta have those conversations and be in the same team. You're talking about supporting our spouse and communication, right? This is part of it. You gotta communicate and you gotta support what the goals are for the team. It's not just parenting. You can think of anything and think about, how we look at things just a different way. And that's fine, right? It's okay to be individuals because you have to bring the individual into the team. Right? But at the end of the day, that individual's got to work for the team. Right? It's not just parenting, and it's just an easy example. Parenting's the biggest example because it's 100% of your time when you're at home.
When you're looking at a marriage or, maybe a long partnership, whatever it might be, and you don't have children and you're wondering, why does this even matter? All you guys are talking about is children. Well, we have children, but at the same time, we didn't have children once upon a time. And it's important to, again, have those hard talks of, Where do we see ourselves in the future? How do we get there? What do we want? What is our long-term goal? You don't get there together if you're not working as a team. So if you want to do everything alone, if you want to, reach those goals all by yourself, then I guess you're not really part of a team. Now, at the same time, maybe you might carry the team, might carry them for a little bit, but at the end of the day, the team still circles and you still are on the same page. Just like teammates, they go in and out for a break. It's the same thing. You have to always understand what the play is, what you're going for. Be on the same team. That's what helps you make it through, the good times and the bad times. Understanding the goal beyond what's happening.
Just because you may be carrying the load, or you may be putting the most work, or whatever the case may be, that doesn't make them any less of a teammate. That doesn't bring their value down in any way, shape, or form, right? That doesn't have to be parenting, finances, career, communication, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I'm sure everybody's mind jumps to finances, right? But what about parenting? What about taking care of the house? What about looking down the road? What about having a plan? Planning the next vacation? Whatever it is, right? Just because you may feel that workload, right, doesn't mean they're still not part of that team. Right? Don't ever lose sight of that. Don't ever lose sight because, I'm so engaged at this goal, they're not even on the team, or they're not helping. They're still a part of the team, and that's really what it comes down to, right? It comes down to, it doesn't matter the work that I'm putting in. I'm never going to look at the scoreboard and say, hey, we're only here because of me. Right? I'm not going to look at the scoreboard and say, we didn't reach our goal, but I did my part. Right? And that's what this is all about. Right? Talk about parenting, talking about, other things in life and just being on the same page. It's not about credit. It's not about, at the end of the day, saying, hey, I did everything I could. Right? Because it's not about you. It's not about an individual. It's about the relationship. And you really gotta understand that. Pride really has no place in a marriage between the two of you. Right? That's a big thing about teamwork. So you can't be prideful. You can't have an ego, right? You gotta be humble. And you gotta put the team first. And just to go back to parenting, kids recognize that. Right? Kids recognize, when one parent's at home and the other one's not. But they recognize when that one parent comes home and they're just as engaged as the other one when they are present at home. That, hey, this is how I need to be. It doesn't matter when I'm not here. When I'm here, I need to be engaged. Right? And your partner recognizes that too.
Okay, guys, we hope you enjoyed our episode 6 of Table Talk with Zach and Carly. Teamwork makes the dream work. I hope it helped you in any way. I hope you share it with others. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next week. Thanks.